internet the other day, just sticking around, whatever, and I saw this story that said AIDS was started by a monkey. And I hope it wasn't Michael Nesmith, because he's really the most talented one. He wrote all the songs. When we think fondly of the Monkees catalog, it's... Too late. First joke was too the other day. That's pretty cool. That's a milestone that, you can't help but be proud of. She said Pyongyang. Really bothers him. And just maybe add the clapping to it. Whee! And then, and also, yeah, they have them in DC, which I just did like last week, and it did the same thing there. And when I was in DC, and if you ever get a chance to go, it's the city itself is not. One thing that's cool about DC is like only good things come from there, and there's just decent people wherever you walk. And but the museums are amazing. They truly are. But the first thing I always do when I get to DC, and I did it this time as well, is I always go and pay my respects to the tomb of the unknown lobbyist. And it's great. And except they have this weird rule. When you go into the room, you have to take your shoes off before you enter, which is weird. You don't have to do that anywhere else. And I asked the guy, why do I have to take my shoes off to come in here? And he said, which means obviously my wife and I have had the big discussion, and we have decided to let her live. And I'm gonna drill that into her head. I'm gonna tell her that repeatedly. Every day, I'm gonna make sure she knows that. Because when she's like 5 years old and she's having a tantrum, I want her to be able to repeat that out loud in a public place so that she knows it, and we're at the airport and we gotta get on the flight and she's having a tantrum. Like, hey, stop it. Hey, what did Daddy tell you? What did Daddy tell you? You let me live? Yeah, that's right, exactly. Not like the others? Yeah, exactly. Now, come on, we gotta get on the plane. Come on, seriously. You wanna go meet your sister or brother? I don't know, we never found out. Let's go. Let's go. I truly believe that a kid is never too young to learn about abortion. I know is at night when she's sleeping, I quietly go into her bedroom and I click on the little white noise machine that replicates the sound of the human heart, and then I tell her these things. I whisper, so I go, Marlo, there is no God. Bernie would have won. Sometimes feminists can be their own worst enemies. Things are important that will be helpful. Noises, a lot of just sort of like pa, pa, ta, ta, ka, cha, sha, pa, ka, ka, that kind of thing, which is really kind of cute and endearing most of the time, but really quite the opposite early in the morning when she first wakes up and it's like 6:30 in the morning and I'm completely out of it and I got to change her diaper and then I got to go downstairs and get the mug out of the thing and fill it with water and put it in the microwave and get the thing, because I'm holding her with my left arm, and her mouth is right here. It's literally right here. Her mouth is right here, and I'm doing all this stuff, and getting the milk ready, and getting my dog's medicines and food together, and doing all this stuff, and it's dark, and I'm just groggy and out of it, and and I'm doing this by myself. I'm there by myself because my wife is often, L.A. or San Francisco or Chicago or somewhere, smashing the patriarchy, and the irony is not lost on me. It's not lost on what is currently taking place. And anyway, so I'm getting all that stuff together, and as I said, it's dark, and the whole time I'm doing that, she's sitting there in my ear just going, pa, pa, ta, cha, 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 And it's like I've got my own personalized 80s horror movie soundtrack playing. Like, stop it. Don't do that. You're creeping me out. Stop it. I'm serious. I've got to put her down. I can't put her on the floor. So, I undo the oven door and set her on that. And it's fine. If nothing else, it allows her to get a little closer to the history of her peoples, and her great-grandfather built ovens. For the Nazis. Now, here's the thing. He got out, Asheville. He got out. He judgment. I do believe this, though, sincerely. I truly think that having a kid is one of the most narcissistic things a person can do. I believe that. I do believe that. And I don't think it's a conscious decision that people have. I think it's this subconscious thing that's in the back of everyone's head, which is this idea of, I like me. I think there should be more of me in the world. Look at that shitty lady with her shitty kids. I gotta balance this out. And I know there's a lot of different reasons people say they want to have kids. I want unconditional love, and I want a buddy. And where I'm from in the South, I think people have kids for practical reasons. They can sort of look ahead into the future and pragmatically, realize, well, this emphysema ain't gonna cure itself, and my diabetes is getting pretty bad, and pretty soon I'm gonna out-fat this rascal I'm sitting on, and I'm gonna out-fat it. I'm gonna have to get into the bed for the rest of my days, and hell, I'm gonna need somebody to go down to the liquor store and get my Pall Mall unfiltered, so I best get to fucking, Sure, Ash, especially if she's gonna be raised in part by my wife and I. My wife is a staunch, very vocal feminist, meaning she won't shut the fuck up about it. And she's an amazing woman doing amazing work, and she's really incredible. And we're different people, basically. And we had very different upbringings, She comes from a loving family. So, I had a pretty shitty childhood in Roswell, Georgia, and she's from Santa Monica, born and raised Santa Monica, California, and I which I can't stand. I don't like Santa Monica. I have a general dislike for LA, but if I had a laser focus on a place, it's fucking Santa Monica that I hate. I can deal with the rest of LA. Santa Monica fucking bugs me, and it drives me up a wall because it's got all this faux progressive bullshit. They act like they're so progressive and liberal and advanced, and they're not. They're not progressive. They act like they're so diverse. They're not diverse. Santa Monica? No. The most diversity you'll see in Santa Monica is the lettuce selection at the Whole Foods salad bar. That's it. It's just varying degrees of pale to tan. That's how diverse it gets over there. And then mixed with that is this weird aggro bullshit beach vibe that everybody, Venice and Santa Monica has, where it's like, you walk into the coffee place and there's always some like sunburnt dude in a Sarapa and a three-legged pit bull playing, Coldplay on a ukulele, and you truly can't tell if he's homeless or a dot-com millionaire. You have no fucking clue. You don't know. You don't know. And you're walking by and the guy's like, hey bro, why don't you smile? Don't cost nothing. Like, fuck you, and that dumb hippie bullshit. Oh. And that's like your experience 60% of your waking hours at Santa Monica and Venice. And I remember being a kid, being a young boy in Roswell and going home from school, cutting through the woods to go to the apartment complex I lived in and getting jumped and beat up by some kids and, yelling anti-Semitic shit. And I remember laying on the ground, getting beat up. And I believe that, at least relatively, I'm a good, decent person with good values and good morals, and my wife is as well, and I want to instill those lessons and values into my daughter and teach her what I think. But I also know that I am cynical, I'm jaded, I'm skeptical, I'm an atheist prone to bouts of depression. I have a jaundiced worldview, you know, because I use my eyeballs and my ears. And, you know, and I just know what I know, but I want to tell these things to my daughter, but I can't just tell her all the things that I believe and I know, because, I mean, that's borderline child abuse. You can't say that to a little kid. I'm not going to be able to sit her down when she's like 4 years old and go, all right, honey, come on, let's go get something to eat, and then we'll go to the playground and we'll go on the swings. And you know what? You're 4 years old. I think you're old enough to know this. Honey, you were born to a deeply and shamefully racist country, acquired through genocide and built by slave labor. Its apocryphal history, a crumbling muddle of lies and deceits. And sweetheart, this profoundly shallow society you are now a part of is fueled by crass consumerism and narcissism and petty tribalism, and it worships money and status and places the appearance of being right above basic human dignity. And Peanut, your leaders are duplicitous hypocrites who cynically use religion and nationalism to easily manipulate ignorant and fearful. Here comes the airplane. That shit's not up for debate, you know, but I can't just tell her that stuff. But there are things I want her to know that I think are important for her to know as she tries